So one of the things we need to see going forward are more instances of people communicating with each other that have strong disagreements but are willing to sit down and have conversations about things. These two people here, I've seen caricatures of them, clips being put out there that that are intended to be hyper, what's the word I'm looking for? They're intended to rile people up. Clips of her that are intended to rile up conservatives and clips of him that are intended to rile up liberals, to make it feel like this country is so divided that we're back in the Civil War and all of this other stuff. And it's like, I've said many, many times over the course of my life and over the course of the couple of YouTube channels that I have, that we are not nearly as divided as we are being told that we are. The average person, we all want the same thing. These hyper politicized issues like abortion and economics and, you know, the border control and all of these other things. I mean, people care about them. They're on the list of things that they think about, but on a daily basis, none of us are really thinking about the border. None of us are really thinking about abortion, and none of us are really thinking about, you know, capitalism versus communism versus any of these other isms that we worry that the political class are worried about. We're worried about, hey, I need to have a place to live. I need to have food on my table. I need to have a car to get to work. I need a job. I need these things so that I can sustain the life that I have, and that's what's important to me. And although many of us have strongly held beliefs on certain topics, I don't really feel like these topics, and I don't think most of us feel like these topics are so important that they're worth tearing the country apart over. We're convinced to believe that they are because the people who want to control everything are doing everything they can to manipulate everything that's being presented to us in a way that pits one side of the country against the other. And we're made to forget that we're all Americans. We're all one country. We all have a foundation, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or whatever it is that you are. If you came to America or if you've been born in America, we all believe the same thing, that each of us should be free to live the life that we want to live and not have anybody else come in and try to stop us from doing it, unless we're, you know, trying to hurt people. Obviously, criminal activity is a different thing. But for the most part, we want to live peacefully with our neighbor. We want to find some kind of career or job or something that gives us success. And we want to have a family and we want to live together. And that's what we want. We want to be able to follow our dreams. That's the American ideal. That's the American dream. It's not a single idea that you should be rich and famous and all of these other things. It's you should be able to follow whatever dream it is, whatever dream that you have for you. And I know the reason I'm making a video right now is that I know that as much as the liberals are not going to want to hear it, this lady right here has been portrayed to the conservative side of everything as this, you know, caricature, ridiculous person. And, you know, the clips I've seen of her do not paint her in the best light. I haven't really watched her very much, but, you know, you see her sit down on a podcast with Tucker Carlson, another person who has been made to see. I'll be honest with you. A lot of the things that Tucker Carlson says, I'm like, ugh. But at the same time, you know, he does at least present himself as somebody who is trying to make up for some past mistakes that he's made. He's trying to push forward a narrative that puts America first. And this is the kind of interaction that we need to see more. The reason I'm making this video is because I support conversations like this. I want us all to stand up and push back against the extremist people who are going to see this lady here coming onto a podcast with Tucker Carlson and see it as some kind of selling out or some kind of compromising of her morals or whatever it is that they're going to try to paint her as a traitor to the left. Right? Just like anytime Tucker talks to somebody, Tucker's gonna have the same thing from the extreme right. They're gonna try to paint him as a traitor for how dare you have her on your show. We need to remember that the voices screaming the loudest are the minority. The vast majority of people don't have the time or energy to come out here fighting about all this stuff. If you are a conservative at heart, and you just go to work and do your job, you're the same as the vast majority of conservatives in the country. And if you are a liberal who believes in liberal ideology, but you spend your time going to work and doing your job and spending time with your family, you are the same as the vast majority of liberals in the country. The divisions that we have only seem so like stark and unable to be overcome because these are extremists we're talking about. They are willing to scream at the top of their lungs like children because they aren't capable of having a reasonable mindset about anything. So I just wanted to take a moment to point out this conversation, not because I like, regardless of what they talk about, the fact that a pretty left-leaning person and a pretty right-leaning person are able to sit down and have an adult conversation about topics should tell you something. It should tell you that America is still America. You as an American still belong to a country whose ideals are something that we should be striving for. And regardless of whether we agree on individual specific issues, most of them are not things that we need to be fighting each other over. Most of them aren't. So just keep that in mind. If you feel rage when you see certain people talking to certain people, stop for a second and think to yourself, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is it better for us to be talking in a reasonable manner, or should we constantly just be fighting for the cause? You know what I mean? So thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you for the next one.